Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game. Free agency. Veteran offers few guarantees as speculation mounts over Warriors' future. If Golden State Warriors fans were looking for some assurance from Klay Thompson about his future with the franchise, Wednesday's end-of-season press conference didn't exactly provide that. Thompson made his media appearance for the first time since Tuesday's elimination against the Sacramento Kings, with the 34-year-old player having a nightmare performance that saw him go scoreless for the first time since his rookie season. The Tuesday game marked a bitter end to a strong second half of the season for Thompson and the Warriors, leaving many question marks ahead of an offseason where the five-time All-Star will become an unrestricted free agent. Thompson's future has risen to the top of the headlines after Golden State's season, but the man himself wasn't very interested in discussing free agency. When The Athletic's Anthony Slater started with a question about his future, Thompson sharply responded, "Do we all want to talk about the season first or just dive straight into the future? There have been a lot of games, man." While there's a narrative that the ownership and franchise did Thompson a favor by signing him to a max extension after he tore his anterior cruciate ligament in the 2019 finals, the veteran shooter was keen to debunk that, stating, "Can you imagine if they didn't pay me after I got hurt? That would have been bad." After completing a 5-year contract worth $189.9 million, Thompson is expected to land a deal between $20 to $30 million annually. He reportedly turned down a 2-year extension worth $48 million before the season, but that seems like a realistic agreement now that would tie him in with contracts for Stephen Curry, Steve Kerr, and Draymond Green. After averaging nearly 20 points on 41.8% three-point shooting in the last 28 games of the regular season, Thompson won't lack rival suitors, with the Orlando Magic reportedly leading the pack. Thompson is the headline of a major offseason for the Warriors, who will also have a decision to make on 38-year-old Chris Paul's future, while speculation will also surround fellow veterans Andrew Wiggins and Kevin Looney. Golden State Warriors season ends in disastrous elimination. The Golden State Warriors season kicked off with lackluster performances from their veteran players and, despite a strong response in recent months, ended in the same fashion on Tuesday night against the Sacramento Kings. Entering the play-in game 9 out of 10 as favorites, the Warriors were completely outplayed, except for a late surge in the first half. The visitors seemed disoriented from the start, struggling to get into their offensive rhythm while the Kings suffocated them from the outset. A 118-94 defeat to the Sacramento Kings was the total summary of a disappointing season and now concludes the Golden State Warriors campaign. Plagued by rotation issues and surrendering a slew of second chances, Golden State fell behind by 16 points early in the second quarter. Jonathan Kuminga led a late-half comeback, scoring 10 points in the period and bringing his team within 4 at halftime. Given how poorly they played in the first 24 minutes, which included Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson combining for 5 points on 2 for 10 shooting, the Warriors might have felt fortunate to be within striking distance heading into the second half. They tied it up at 58-57, only for the Kings to respond with a 16-5 run. From there, Golden State offered little resistance, providing a rather subdued ending to a season that could never recover from a slow start. Thompson's and Andrew Wiggins' form had been a point of discussion for much of the season, and it almost seemed fitting that Golden State's season would end with disastrous performances from the veteran duo. Thompson, possibly in his final game for the franchise ahead of free agency, failed to score a single point in over 31 minutes. The 34-year-old went 0 for 10 from the floor and 0 for 6 from three-point range, while Wiggins failed to make an impact with 12 points on 4 for 11 shooting. Curry did his best after a slow first half, but he too fell short of his best as the Kings made the two-time MVP work tirelessly for his 22 points, a team high. Draymond Green contributed 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists, but there wasn't the same kind of defensive impact seen in recent weeks. Kuminga tallied 16 points and 7 rebounds but shot just 6 for 15 from the field, with Tracy Jackson-Davis limited to under 11 minutes as Steve Kerr's decision to go small backfired spectacularly. On a night with few or no positives, Moses Moody was a rare bright spot with 16 points on 5 for 8 shooting. He and Kuminga kept Golden State alive in the first half, but it proved to be false hope as the game quickly swung in favor of the Kings. Attention now turns to what will surely be a busy offseason for the Warriors, headlined by Thompson's free agency. After a season that began with hopes of returning to championship contention, it's an unceremonious ending that could trigger significant changes in the coming months. Golden State Warriors, Chris Paul addresses retirement rumors and eyes the future. It wasn't just Klay Thompson potentially playing his last game as a member of the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday night against the Sacramento Kings. The same could be said for veteran point guard Chris Paul, who could join Thompson as a free agent this summer. Unlike Thompson, though, Paul remains under contract with Golden State until 2025. However, his deal is not guaranteed, meaning the Warriors could decide not to fulfill the final year of his contract, making him an unrestricted free agent in the offseason. Golden State Warriors news: Chris Paul talks Dub's future. Paul failed to make a significant impact in Tuesday's play-in defeat to the Kings. The 12-time All-Star managed just 3 points and 2 assists in 18 minutes off the bench, watching as Golden State suffered a devastating 118-94 loss to Sacramento. CP3 clearly isn't the star he once was. At 39 years old, there's no denying that the 11-time NBA All-Star is already in the twilight of a decorated career. Nevertheless, Paul made it clear that he's not ready to hang up his boots just yet. That's not even a question, Paul said in response to retirement rumors, via Mark J. Spears of The Undefeated. I just want to get back to hooping. Paul still has some gas left in the tank, and while his years may be numbered, he remains steadfast in his belief that he can still add value to any NBA team. Whether that will happen with Golden State, however, remains to be seen. I loved being there this year, Paul said about his first season with the Warriors. Obviously, once the dust settles, we'll talk. I want to see what General Manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. and them are thinking. 14 long years. As mentioned earlier, Paul has a stellar resume in the NBA. This includes an incredible streak of 14 consecutive playoff appearances, a record that was broken on Tuesday night after the Warriors were eliminated in the play-in tournament. It's a weird feeling right now, Paul said. I tore my meniscus in New Orleans in the 2009-10 season. That was the last time I missed the playoffs. That's weird now. I might be dad earlier than usual. It's tough. It's life in this league. You get back to work and figure out how the next season will be. But playing with Steph, Draymond, and Klay is something I'll never forget. I'm glad I got that opportunity. Based on the statement above, it seems like Paul is already speaking in the past tense. As he mentioned, he appreciates the opportunity to have played alongside Stephen Curry and company, which, apparently, may end up being nothing more than a brief adventure. Thank you for following the latest Warriors news with us. We hope you enjoyed the updates, insights, and highlights we shared. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive the latest updates on the most exciting team in the NBA. Until next time, let's continue rooting together for the Warriors' success.